Good morning. Today is Thursday, not yet Friday, but very close. And it's January 30th. This is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. Last night's showers will continue this morning with a flood watch in effect until noon for the DFW area, but that rain is expected to clear up this afternoon as we head into the end of the week. Highs today will be a little warmer in the mid-60s. Regional leaders are trying to keep the fight over Dallas area rapid transit's funding from going to the state. What that could mean for transit in North Texas right after the news. A new national assessment of math and reading scores show Dallas 4th and 8th graders largely at the same level they were 2 years ago, and in some cases still below pre-COVID numbers. The Texas Education Agency says challenges remain from the pandemic, but other education experts say the trend started before the pandemic. Dallas leaders and cycling advocates hope to speed up the timeline for a plan to develop new bike trails across the city. Dallas has about 200 miles of designated bike paths, lagging behind cities like Austin and Houston that have 500 miles each. The new bike plan involves building out more than 80 miles of new paths in the next 5 years. The future of Dallas area rapid transit is at stake as the agency is embroiled in a fierce debate over its primary source of funding, sales tax revenue. For nearly a year, leaders at DART have been at odds with the cities they represent. Now, as KERA's Pablo Arauz-Peña reports, that fight may be heading for the Texas legislature.
Connor Hulla is a regular DART rider and president of the Dallas Area Transit Alliance, or DATA, a group that formed with the sole aim of saving DART from budget cuts.
We want to protect DART services. We don't want people's commutes to be made worse. We don't want DART to be forced to default on their bonds they've issued. So we're trying to protect the agency from these cuts.
Several of DART's member cities want to cut their contributions to the agency, and they might look to the state to do that. A couple of months ago, Hulla's group posted documents online it obtained in an open records request, including draft legislation calling for a reduction in DART's funding by 25%.
Because DART is not going to cut their own funding, they want to go to the state and have the state change the law that governs DART.
It's unclear who wrote the bill, but Hulla says the push to cut DART's funding is primarily coming from Plano. In a letter last month, Plano Mayor John Munz requested the agency return a quarter of the city's contributions from 2024 and 2025, totaled at $55 million, or the city would pursue legislation at the state level. KERA reached out to several representatives for Plano in the state legislature, but most didn't respond. Democratic State Representative Mijaela Plesa says she supports DART and she's heard from constituents about the issue, but right now she doesn't plan to file any legislation about the agency.
We are always open to working with those willing to work with us on advancing and advocating for legislation that helps Texans travel across North Texas with more ease and safety.
Meanwhile, DART leaders are in talks with member cities to avoid the budget fight from going to the legislature. The agency gets most of its funding from the 13 cities it serves. For every city sales tax dollar, DART gets 1 cent. That adds up to millions of dollars.
The service area cities see that as their sales tax. DART sees that much differently. It's ours.
Jamie Adelman is the chief financial officer for DART. She says those cities are feeling a pinch in their budget from changes in property tax laws a few years back.
Because of that, they're looking for new and additional revenue sources to support economic development and, just overall city services.
Not all cities are trying to cut DART's funding. Leaders in Garland, Richardson, and Dallas have expressed their support for the agency. Here's Dallas City Council member Carolyn King Arnold.
We're going to stand on the business for the people who need us the most. We're going to stand for the working poor who contribute to the growth and development of the city of Dallas.
Dallas leaders also pledged to back the agency when the city included support for DART's current funding in its legislative agenda. The issue has also caught the attention of regional leaders. Transportation Director Michael Morris says if DART doesn't update its services to please member cities, the consequences will have a ripple effect in North Texas.
If we can't develop a more comprehensive more direct and indirect way to deliver very, really cool transit, we're going to fail this region.
The Regional Transportation Council told DART and member cities to resolve the funding debate or else it would pull its support for DART in its legislative agenda.
I am pleading with you. Solve this problem within your own house.
If not, DART leaders say this could be an existential threat for the agency.
That was KERA's Pablo Arauz-Peña reporting. The Mavericks won a close one last night against the New Orleans Pelicans, 137-136. Despite being down by 10 points with under a minute to go, the Pelicans mounted a fairly convincing comeback effort that ultimately ran out of time, as Kyrie and company were able to close out the game. The art exhibition When You See Me contends with themes of visibility in art and history, especially for people who've been historically excluded or erased. And you can see it now through April at the Dallas Museum of Art. For more information and other things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter and get good morning vibes from our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Hang in there, the weekend's nearly here. We'll see you tomorrow.